Here we've got a set of the more modern thin risers, but these, well, they might be good when you're doing big long flights. They're less than ideal when you're doing lots of takeoffs and landings, flying maybe at the coast, flying inland on a day when it's not a big day, we're getting thermals going up high. So we're using nut pliers, which don't damage these, easy and quick way, slackening off all the sets. Now, just need to check and make sure that everything is okay. So, we have a D, C, B and A. I've got to check these, make sure that they are the correct ones. We have a D, a C, a B and split A's. So you guys lay them out in exactly the same way. Now, if you can have a look in, James.
Yeah.
Now you see the side, and you see the side, is that the correct one?
No.
No, okay. Because these are set up for left and right sides, you want to take them so you've got, yep. So you want to take them so you've got the correct side when you're doing a changeover. So the orientation is set exactly the same way. So, free off, that one's okay, that one's okay. Now, the arrangement on the original one with the thin all the way is you've got the 2, then the 1. The thicker one is the 2. Sometimes you get big ear split A's where it's the front one is the big ear A, sometimes it's the second one. In the Nova design it's the second one. So, and check the brake fan. There we go. Now, work from back to the front, as that's the easiest. So the first thing is pop the brake off and ease out the lines. And we'll get this readjusted next time, but we put in where the kink for the highest bit of knot is. That should be, roughly speaking, the marker. And it is correctly tied, it's got a bow line on it. All knots weaken a line, and you want to use a knot that doesn't weaken it by much. Bow line's very good in that it will only weaken the line by 40%. So if the line itself had a 100 kilo braking strain, where the knot is, in theory, it has a 60 kilo braking strain. And as the saying goes about the weakest link, this is the weakest link on there. So, brake handle goes down, spare brake handle, handy to keep. Now that is below, so we're pulling this out, putting this one in through the pulleys, slightly different, it's a longer tab. Put that in, put the brake handle and tie the bow line on at the moment. Not properly set on the length, it's simply so that it keeps things tidy just now. We'll adjust and set that afterwards. Main thing is just getting on through these. So, not critical. Okay, got the brake part. Those lines were over the top. So now we slacken it off and you take off the first of the figure 8 sides of the O-ring. Now some manufacturers favour a single loop, some use a double loop. In the case of this Nova glider, the line lengths would change if you have a single loop. Okay. So it actually loops all the way around. Take off the first one and hold that in your hand. Take off the second one and do the same thing, keeping it in order, 1 and then 2. Then the O-ring comes off and put the O-ring onto the new bit. And then the second one is now the first one on, last off, and that sort of thing. And with the double loops has the advantage that the loads spread much more, so it's actually stronger. So on one and then round Okay. Then the O-ring makes your figure of 8 that holds these lines in position. And that goes over, and then put finger tight only. So break, break. Now we're looking at the floating C's, same arrangement. Spin that out. Off comes the O-ring. Any carburetor type seals, you know.
They'll do.
Yeah, it's not a crucial part at all. It's just a simple, effective way of keeping the lines in position. Check. We've got 1, 2, 3 on here. Ease them off the threads. 1, 2, 3. O-ring comes off. Check it's the correct one. O-ring goes back on, and then in reverse order. 1. Now this is also very handy when you get somebody drops a wing over a lamppost. Because all you need is a spanner, and half the time you can get the glider off the lamppost simply by, in the same order, undoing, hold together, bring it round the lamppost, redo.
Alright, okay.
Rather than sort of having to get ladders, etc. Believe me, seen it done a few times. And everybody's going, oh, never thought of that. Okay, spin it tight, but only finger tight. And we're on to the next one. Now the next one is the B with the tip. And again, make sure the orientation is the same, so the tip line is outer, it's down. And notice this one happens to be missing a rubber. So no big deal, you can do that in the future. But what you do is you take off the 1, 2, 3, 4, because it's the tip lines, put the O-ring on, and then replace these back on, and then the O-ring goes round. So it's not a big issue, but they're useful to have. So at some point there, somebody's put it in a different way. I wouldn't recommend that. It should be all the same way. It's not critical, but it does change the trim. So unless that's deliberately done, which seems highly unlikely, that would be out by a millimetre or 2 on one line.
Right.
Not a big issue, but you know, I've seen stranger things. Okay, again checking the orientation, we're back to this one, back in the reverse order.
Could they be kept together? Could they be taped?
Yes, sometimes you'll get them with Velcro stitched on, sometimes with poppers. A lot of the Nova designs actually had poppers to hold them together for most of the time, and then you could unpop them.
But could you tape them up, theory?
Yeah, but the problem is that then if you take them together, you can't actually in the air